Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond and want to welcome you to our fourth Facebook Live Caravan Chat of 2021. As always, presented by Comerica Bank. Hope everybody's having a great week. As you probably know, Winter Caravan's got a little different feel this year as we've taken things a little more into the virtual realm. And tonight we're excited. We've got a great show lined up for you with infielder and Gold Glove winner, maybe you heard of him, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, and then one of the newest Rangers infielder, first baseman, Nate Lowe. So let's just jump right on into it, fellas. First of all, where are you guys coming from today? Like, Izzy, are you in Hawaii right now?
Yeah, I'm in Hawaii right now. Currently, enjoying my time with my family. All the hard times in the world. I mean, I'll never get this time back. I wish I was in Texas right now, but, just with the way things are going, I thought it's, safest to go from here straight to spring training. So I'm taking the safe route, but I can't wait to get back and see the guys.
Okay, well, hello to the 808, as I think we call it these days. Isiah, what about it, Nate? Where do we find you right now?
I'm in Orlando. I'm actually up in Claremont in Northwest Orlando, and I'm looking at 82 and sunny, so pretty comfortable out here, man. But I'll tell you what, I'm ready to get out to Arizona and get out to Dallas and see what's up.
Yeah. So first of all, Nate, welcome aboard. I certainly haven't had the chance, and to that end, I'm curious, what kind of opportunity have you had to connect with teammates, coaches, personnel inside the Rangers so far?
Yeah, I mean, the staff has been great so far. A couple guys have reached out to say what's up, and I mean, everybody's been awesome. I'm really grateful for the guys that have reached out to say what's up, and I'm excited to get to go.
Okay, what were your initial thoughts and reactions when you found out you were traded?
I don't know, man. It was pretty surreal. You don't know what to expect until something like that goes down, and then now I've got a whole new clubhouse to go in there, and a whole new staff to go in there and work with, and I'm pretty excited overall.
Okay, well, we've got a lot to talk about, to cover, and to get to know with you, and less to get to know about Isiah. But Izzy, let's talk about real quick last year for you. I mean, as I introduced you as a Gold Glove winner, and for the rest of your life, you'll be introduced as a Gold Glove winner. Has that sunk in yet for you?
It hasn't yet. Everything I had to go through during my career, it's all been surreal with the catching, the utility role, just bouncing all over the place and feeling like I was always overlooked. So last year, coming into spring training, I was just trying to, be the backup shortstop. I didn't really have a way in, so I had to figure out, a way to get some playing time. And, the bat came around a little bit, but it gave me an opportunity to play every day, and I took full advantage. So I'm just, I'm grateful for what I could show, and I can't wait to show what I can do this year.
Well, yeah. So I was asking Nate, there's, his reactions to an off season of news. What about your reaction to an off season of news? You come into camp as the everyday shortstop, ostensibly.
It's huge. For me, it's a dream come true. I've only been a shortstop my whole career, so when I got to the minor leagues and started bouncing around, it was tough for me. It wasn't easy. I was learning a different game, a game that wasn't mine. I was playing third base, trying to stress for power, catching, not knowing what I was doing, and still was able to call a great game for the pitchers. So everything I've done to this point has been for someone else. So I think the fact that, like this year I'm getting to play my position, do my thing, I think it's only going to benefit the team. And, I'm really, really excited to show people, what I can do at that position. Because, third base was really fun, but now I got a little more range, a little more room to play with. So I can't wait for that opportunity and try to, go back to back.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of playing position, and with that, we'll segue back to Nate for a moment, because these days there are very few positions, particularly on the infield, that one plays and is expected to be at that position every at bat, right? Third baseman, you could be playing out in short right field at times, or deep right field if you're Manny Machado. You could be at shortstop on the second base side of the bag, et cetera. Now, first base, though, Nate, you largely do stay at first base. But what is your background positionally? Is first base always been the place for you? And what about versatility for you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first base was it coming through the minor leagues for sure. And then 2019, towards the end, I kind of got put into the shuffle where, you know, you learn when you get called up and moved up that you're not the big fish. So in order to fight to stay in the lineup, you for sure got to try and get versatile. And so I fortunately was around some guys that were really hardworking with the minor league Rays staff. And we played a handful of games over there at third. And then the next thing I know, I believe the old Globe Life was the first time I played third base in the big leagues. So, you know, it was weird for sure, but it was something that I'd done all my life. And, you know, I played over there coming up until I got to college. So professionally, it's been mostly first, but, you know, I'm definitely open to whatever's going to help the team win and obviously keep the bat in the lineup.
Not to get too deep into the weeds on this sort of stuff, because I don't know how much fans want to dig into this right now necessarily, but I'm fascinated by it. What is the most unusual thing that you feel like a first baseman has been asked to do in recent years? I mean, obviously playing third base is a different animal, but you know what I'm talking about? Like everybody else in the infield, and you might be having to turn a double play from an opposite side of the bag. But first base, it does seem like you guys stay somewhat traditional or stationary.
Yeah, it's traditional until probably 2 years ago where they really got serious about the heavy right-handed shift. Because, you know, like you're taught to stay in the circle and wherever you rotate around the bag is how far you're going to be. But a lot of times coming up, you don't understand that circle is halfway between first and second base. So when you find yourself behind the pitcher's mound, you know, halfway between first and second, it's just a different angle to get over there. And, you know, it's something different, but you get used to it after a little bit. But for the most part, you don't really see a first baseman that far in the four hole.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's nice, right? It's got to be nice.
Yeah, it's just something new to learn, man. It's just another hop that the game can throw at you.
Yeah. Izzy, what about it? You know, you talk about being shortstop now in a comfort zone for you, which is great. But at the same time, you are going to be playing on the opposite side of the base. I'm sure on occasion you're going to be probably shaded more toward third again as well. Do you enjoy the way the game has evolved that way?
I don't, for me, honestly, you know, it's kind of weird. It's a little untraditional, but, you know, there's improvements to the game and it's the moves and, you know, things we got to do. For me personally, I think playing third base is kind of going to help me a little bit. You know, when the righties come up, I'm playing more in the hole and it's probably about 10 feet from where I was used to last year. So that's not too big of a change, but I think with the lefties, it's more about, you know, for what I've been working on this offseason is taking ground balls behind the mound. You know, that's something I'm not really used to. So just getting that practice of the ball hitting the mound and the weird hops that could come with that. You know, that's going to be a little challenge. And also the double plays from, you know, the second baseman from the shortstop from a righty shift. So that, you know, that's not going to be your easy play. But the way I look at it, it's more of a highlight play. So, you know, I might be able to get on ESPN a little more, but it's, you know, it's just going to be fun to just have more range and, you know, just more of a chance to just be myself. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, we'll do our best to put together little highlight reels from time to time on you this summer, man. I'm sure that won't be difficult for us. What about the last year, guys? You know, it was unique for both of you, just in your own progression professionally. And then of course there was everything else last year with the delays, the shortened schedule, the lack of travel outside of divisions, et cetera. Starting with you, Isiah, what was last year like and what does that mean for you going into this year? Do you find yourself looking forward to this year that much more? Were there things about last year that you're just really excited to say goodbye to?
Yeah, you know, last year was the first opportunity I got to play. So getting your first opportunity to play in front of no fans is it's kind of draining. It's a little tough. You know, I was so excited to just get out there that it didn't really bother me. But the longer we went into the season, it just started to turn into a drag a little bit. And But now that I look back on the experience, this offseason and everything going forward, that was the best thing that could have happened to anybody in professional baseball. I mean, you're talking about adversity, talking about not seeing your family, not being able to do the things that you're used to. So, I mean, everybody was thrown off. And if you're able to succeed last year, it just shows, the toughness that you have, and it should make everybody better. So, the league's going to be tougher because everybody went through it. But, it's just something that when you look back 10, 20 years down the road, you're just going to be happy you went through it.
Yeah, yeah. And Nate, I mean, I guess it was a little bit different for you. Again, it was different for everybody for a million reasons. But while Isiah is talking about, not playing in front of fans, that was unique. It also just so happens it was not a great year on the field for the Rangers last year. So that got to be tough. I think probably amplified by the situation we're in. Meanwhile, you guys were making, another miraculous run in Tampa Bay. So what was that like playing at such a high level, having the success you guys were having, and yet doing it seemingly, in that forest with the trees falling down, but nobody can hear it?
Yeah, man, they did such a good job over there of staffing the right arms. So even the guys that were in the 60-man pool that were not active and didn't throw a pitch in the major leagues this year were above average arms. And so when they do such a good job with that, you keep all your position players down there ready. And then unfortunately they lost so many guys to UCL elbow injuries because of the whole start-stop deal. And they did such a good job of getting the depth there in order to make that run happen. Like, that was just what was so impressive about the situation.
Yeah. What about the postseason for you? I mean, there's the roster construction and makeup that can limit a guy's ability to be a part of anything, number one. But then are you still hanging around? Do you guys they keep like that, taxi roster, whatever we're calling it, around preparing? Are you with the team all that time? Like, where were you? How did that play out for you?
Yeah. So that's 2 years in a row where, I unfortunately have been left off of playoff rosters. And so I've had to watch the team in 2019, it was the dugout. And then 2020, due to the health protocol, it was a suite up in left field. So I got to see the stadium from a really cool angle, but sitting up there and watching things was not all that fun, I'm really happy for the guys because they're really well-deserving human beings in that clubhouse that bust it every day to win and have to deal with some of the things that go on in the clubhouse. But sitting up there and watching was not really fun at all personally. So I guess that's just something that I had to go through as part of my career to learn, what it's going to take to win and to be a part of a roster like that. So at the time it was, a bit of a grind, but now it's another door open and a new opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I can understand your frustrations watching during the postseason. That would have to be a little too tantalizing to be that close and not be down there having an impact.
Yeah, it's something, man. But they did a pretty good job as far as keeping us involved in the morning. Again, like the minor league staff over there was great, and they did everything they could to make sure that we're taking batting practice and taking ground balls in case somebody is going down or something happens, But yeah, sitting up there and watching is definitely nothing like being able to compete. So, I'm looking forward to that.
And that's what everybody plays for. Isiah, you've unfortunately in the time that you've been up with the team, things haven't gone as well for this club. How far off do you think this Rangers team is? How much more growth would you suspect that there needs to be to get to that level where we're in the postseason every year?
As tough as last year was, when I sit here and I look back, I think about everything that we had to go through and the teams that we had to play. If you look at within the West Coast division and the amount of teams that actually went to the playoffs, you're looking at the Dodgers, you're looking at the Padres, Oakland, Houston. I mean, that's already 4 of the teams that we're only playing, and they're in the playoffs, and that's like the top 4 teams. So if you look at, the guys we had to play and the talent that we had to play, I thought we actually did pretty well. We didn't win the games we were supposed to win. We really struggled, but I think if we were to play everybody, I think the season would have turned out a lot different. It was just tough. We were younger than a lot of the teams that we had to play, and the experience just kind of got to us. But, I don't think we're too far off. I think, adding Nate and just having him come and bring that, he's going to come and bring that playoff pedigree and, just spread around the clubhouse. We got winners like Solak. We got Trevino. We got a bunch of great guys, Joey, Willie. And, you got Elvis and Rugi with the experience. So, going forward, we can be as close as we want to be. As long as we keep putting in the work and we do things as a team, sky's the limit. I think the biggest goal going forward is just having a team approach. We don't want to be one of those teams swinging for the fences every time. We want the lineup to roll over. So if we can do that with a great pitching staff and let our guys develop, we should be ready in no time.
Yeah, it is always that team approach, right? And that's what it takes to get there. And that could be as simple as moving guys up on the bases or whatever, just to sacrificing certain parts of your personal experience or statistics. And yet I have to ask you, do you guys individually this time of year or at other times of year, do you sit down and set certain goals for yourself prior to the start of, let's say, spring training?
Yeah, 100%. If you look at the goals that I have now, I don't really want to say because people might think it's a reach, but that's my goals and that's what I strive to work for. And I wouldn't be working if I didn't have my goals. So.
Yeah, I agree. Our guys that we train with for the off season too have we set out off season goals right away, and then our season goals right there with the off season goals. So we know from day one what we're working towards. And I mean, I'm probably in the same boat there where the goals are probably higher than what is realistic. But I mean, if you're not out there trying to be the MVP, what are you playing for?
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. And Nate, there are probably a lot of Rangers fans wondering a little bit about you. So, I can look at the numbers and I can see that on a full season of at-bats, you're probably a 30 homer guy, 90, 100 RBIs, 250, 260 average. What should fans expect to see from you? What's your style of play? What's your calling card? What are we going to see?
Let's see. I would say my game is within my game. The game that I play is not the dynamic game that somebody like a Gallo is going to hit 500-foot homers. That's not what I do. I like to try and command the strike zone and command the plate and take away some little things here and there. And there's a good chance that my thumbs are going to wind up in my pocket after a lot of at bats and I break a lot of bats. But I'll tell you what, man, I have no problem getting jammed and doing little things. So, homers are great and all, but beating the shift is pretty cool sometimes too. And I enjoy having fun out there, man. I really enjoy smiling and cutting up with the guys. And, we're out there to have fun and win, but, we're going to have a good time either way.
Nice. You'll probably be, maybe you won't be surprised to know that the nerd broadcasters, we all like to communicate with one another and get the scoop on fellas. You come very highly regarded from the guys in Tampa Bay. They're very excited for us. We're excited to see you as well. I wanted to ask you guys, each of you, in the off season, right? We've got a lot of downtime. There's downtime during the season, for crying out loud, but during this off season, I know you train. I know you got to get ready and maybe take a little time off here or there. But how do you blow off steam? Like you, Nate, what's your go-to indulgence where you'll take some time for you and do something fun just to blow off some steam?
All right. The first 3 weeks of an off season or 2 weeks of downtime, last year, 2019, I would wake up, grab a golf cart, play 9, get a snack, play another 9, eat lunch, play another 9, and call it a day at 5. And I did that every day for 3 weeks. So if I could golf every day to kind of get out of baseball, that's me right there.
I think you and I will get along really well. That sounds really good to me. How's your game?
Trending in the wrong direction right now, but I love it, man. It's fun. I enjoy it because, baseball is such a big game of failure that if you get used to failing too much, it bleeds into other areas of your life. So, you can go out there and pack it around and mash a golf ball here and there. The vast public is really bad at it. So us being natural ball hitters, as our job, it kind of puts us above the crowd, and you got your step ahead, and then it's all fun from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Love it. Izzy, I know you've been on the hunt for a PS5. Did you get one? Is that your big indulgence?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the beach all day, but the sun goes down. So once the sun goes down, it's onto the video games. I'm trying to slow down right now, but I'm really enjoying my last couple of weeks home and just going to the beach as much as possible. I started to get into golfing maybe about 2 months ago, and I just started breaking 100, putting my driver away. So that's good news. But as the season approaches, probably start playing less, and I'll have to stop going to the beach because the waves are getting a little too big. But I'm just gonna enjoy these last 2 weeks home and soak up the sun.
All right, sounds good. And you guys, your confidence level that spring training is just going to go off as planned. I mean, I know there's some nonsense earlier this week coming out of Arizona, but I mean, as far as you guys are concerned, everything's a go.
Yeah, we're training as if the start date's the start day, and that's all we can control. So we're just gonna be ready, and we'll report when we have to. But nothing's changing the training side of that. We're ready to report whenever we're needed.
Okay. Yeah, Nate, you're hearing the same thing, obviously.
Yeah, the exact same, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, stay healthy in the interim, because that's going to be one of the big keys again this year. Obviously, it's going to be a big key. Hopefully, we can get guys vaccinations and whatnot too. I don't know how that stuff's going to plan out or play out, but Lord knows, we're all ready to get back to something a little more normal. But in the spirit of getting back to a little more normal, usually this time of year during the caravans, we have occasion to interact with the fans a little bit more directly. It could be in smaller settings and that kind of stuff. This virtual thing is how we have to do it this year. And God bless the fans who have participated by sending in questions via Twitter and other means. And so here we go, guys. You guys are now on the clock with the fans here. So this is for both of you guys. And this is from at Chrissy, I think is how I'm going to say this one, Kchyrise. And the question is, what is your pregame ritual like on game days? So if you want to start with that, Nate, take us through a typical game day routine for you.
Let's see, man. If I got a breakfast spot that I got hits from the day before, I'm going back to that breakfast spot and ordering the same thing. I shower before I head to the field and then head in and get whatever early work in. I like to try and repeat the exact same thing. So the earlier I can get ground balls out of the way and then hit a little bit, and then for relaxing as long as possible before the game, being with the team, being with the guys, cutting up and having a good time, but then understanding when it's time to get locked in. So I like to repeat and have the same breakfast, do the same routine, and hopefully come out with a better result.
The breakfast bit of it, sometimes, it's a little more difficult than others to get up and out, but how critical is that for you? Some people, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular here, maybe myself, but I can't start my day at 10:30 and not get a breakfast or something, right?
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
100%. And I was talking to, I want to say his name's Jared the other day, and he said that there's First Watch out there in Dallas, and that Benedict, that First Watch is the answer for me, buddy. The answer for me.
Okay. All right. I love it. The breakfast is critical for me. Isiah, do you have a pregame or a day of game ritual that is kind of a must for you?
My routine's been pretty consistent. I like to do the same thing in the mornings, eat breakfast, shower, get to the field. When I get to the field, that's when, the lights turn on, everything is just going. I think my most important thing of the day is my cage routine, making sure I'm breathing throughout it. A lot of times I like to try and hit the ball far, so the breathing just really takes that all away and just allows me to work on my swing. So I think that'll be my biggest ritual, just practicing my breathing while I'm doing cage work. And then everything else after that is just easy off the schedule. So,
Well, so the breathing thing, how long have you been focused on that, and where did this come from?
last spring training, that was, I worked so hard to do a no stride. And then, I got beat because I had no movement. So once I added in a step, started hitting the ball really far. And when I hit it far, I just wanted to hit it further and further and further. So I think the biggest thing for me was to control the breathing. So I didn't do that, just touch the ball. And it really allowed me to practice my swing, rather than just looking for distance and looking for launch angle and everything they say. So I think the breathing just simplified the game for me, but I still have a lot to work to do. So I'm just excited to put the product on the field this year.
Interesting. I always love when we get into the sort of the mental or psychological parts of the game. Nate, do you have anything like that that is a part of your focus in performance or preparation?
Yeah, as of late, well, at least more towards the end of last year, I tried to do as much as I could as far as pitch recognition goes, because anybody who's had a part-time role will tell you, if you're not seeing live pitches 7 days a week, it's really tough to compete with the best of the best at 7 o'clock. So I tried doing everything I could, as far as there was like a little app that they had, or tracking in with bullpens, and that's a really big deal for me, because the more you can see it and the more you compete that way, the more comfortable you are when it's time to go to work.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. This again for both of you. This is from JovenB.00. What advice would you guys have for a young high school ball player?
High school ball players, have fun, listen to your coaches. I see a lot of good athletes. They got the scouts there, they got D1, whatever type of coaches or scouts watching. And the biggest thing I see is the attitude. Sometimes these high school players, they have attitude. So I think, the biggest thing is just to respect your coaches and have fun. The coaches, they're there for a reason, so you got to use them. But, when you're giving them attitude and a tough time, it's just hard to take the next step. So if you can just respect everyone around you, it makes the game a lot easier.
Okay.
I agree, man. That's like the same thing I would say to high schoolers, is that like being a good teammate goes so much further than like pouting over a bad at bat, because it's going to go bad at some point, like I don't remember which high school teammates hit what batting average, but I remember who the guys that were fun to be around were, and I remember the good dudes that I was fortunate enough to play with. So the percentages are so crazy anyway. Like, there's no reason to get bent out of shape if you're not the best baseball player, if you're not having fun. So bust it and have fun.
Yeah, that's great. What was the high school time like for you guys? Nate, starting with you. I know you ended up going to Mississippi State. I don't know what level of interest there was, or prior to that, that you might get drafted or might not. I don't know. I know your brother got drafted, I think, out of high school, right?
He did, yeah. He was a first-round pick out of high school. I actually wound up at Mississippi State by way of Mercer University my freshman year, and then St. John's River State University, a junior college, my sophomore year, because out of high school, I just really wasn't proactive with recruiting, because I didn't really know, I enjoyed baseball. I liked baseball. I thought I wanted to play college baseball, but, recruiting, if you don't know what you're doing, you have to be pretty standoutish, I guess is the right word. And I wasn't. So, yeah. And, fortunately I wound up where I wound up, and I wouldn't trade my path for anything.
Yeah. Isiah, were you highly touted in high school, followed closely? Did you know what you were doing in terms of recruitment and that kind of stuff?
The only school I wanted to go to was University of Hawaii, and I didn't get an offer from them. And my school was literally in their backyard, literally in the backyard. So for me, that always hit me hard every day. Even when I'm training to this day, every drive I take, I drive past the school, and it really gets me going. So like that ever since that, it's just been I've been grinding. But you know, I didn't have any offers until maybe the ending of, or I should say, the start of my senior year at San Jose State and BYU, and I'm not Mormon. So I think for me, it was just about getting an opportunity, and you know, all of a sudden, pro scouts started coming, and that's I put all my energy into that, and even looking really into college at that point. So you know, once I got picked in the 4th round, I just jumped all over it.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that whole scene is a little unwieldy. I think it'd be a lot for a young kid and families to navigate if you've never been through it. I don't know how in the world you're supposed to understand it. So hat tip to both of you, and good luck to Jovan B as well. All right, that's a fun one, and I'll adapt this question too. This is from Andres Moreno 737, and the question is, who's your favorite baseball player? But I would like a favorite current baseball player who is not a teammate, and a favorite baseball player just on the all-time baseball list for you. And I don't know who wants to take this one first.
I'll go first. I'll go current. I'd say Mookie Betts. I love what he's doing with the game, and you know, with the size. You know, he's not big at all, but he's hitting with the big boys. So you know, it gives guys like me and you know, all the kids growing up a lot of hope to keep playing this game. You know, I shied away from football, basketball because of size. So to see someone like Mookie go off, it makes me feel good, and it gives me a lot of hope. And I'd say, you know, all-time Ranger would be Michael Young. You know, that's I literally want to be the next Michael Young. That's my goal. And you know, my favorite shortstop is Derek Jeter. Just growing up, it's kind of been like a hybrid of Michael Young and Derek Jeter, and I kind of want to mesh my game in the middle of that. So, yeah, those are my 3 guys.
Well, that'd be a great spot to end up, man. Some combination of those two would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, right. Let's see. All right, my favorite player right now is Mike Brasso. Yeah, to see where he came from, like as a non-drafted free agent, to watch him earn his way onto minor league teams and then earn his way into a big league roster, and then not even have consistent at bats, and then to do what he did and win that playoff game off of the homer from Chapman. I mean, that's like, come on, man. Like, that's as cool as it gets. I love watching Freddie though. Freddie Freeman, he gets it, man. He drives the ball to all fields. He plays a mean first base. His swing's not really great aesthetically looking, but I'm pretty sure his stats look great in any stat book ever. So, yeah. I grew up watching a lot of the Braves, so I don't know. Chipper was probably like my favorite player growing up all time, but I don't know. There's not one that really sticks out head and shoulders above the rest. I just enjoy watching baseball as a whole.
Okay. All right. Good answer. How's your defensive game at first base, Nate?
And I catch the ball when it's hit to me. I mean, I'm not going to make incredibly outrageous plays. You know, I'm going to catch the ball. That's it.
Okay. All right. Catching the ball is good, man. That's a really great place to start, I think.
That's it.
Okay. Let's see. This is a question for Isaiah, and this comes from Zach Attack 1188. And Zach asks, what are some of your favorite things about the new ballpark?
I love the infield. If you watch the World Series and you watch the plays those guys were making, I mean, I know I remember the day games last year with the sun coming down, and I think it was like the 5th or 6th inning when the infield completely dries up. You know, that was a scary place to be. So, you know, with the roof and keeping everything nice and moist, that infield is spectacular, and I can't wait to get there again. But, you know, I also love the roof. No heat, that's a big thing. And, you know, it's just beautiful. Everything about it. I can't wait for it to have fans. It's just incredible stadium.
Yeah. Did you, speaking of the postseason games, Isaiah, you watched those, and then those came on the heels of 30 home games, the preponderance of which had the roof closed. All the games of the postseason seemed like roof open. Definitely a little more offensively charged with the roof open. Did you get a sense playing there last year that it is two different ballparks, definitely more offensive with the roof open?
Yeah, at first I thought it was open or closed, and then I started looking more into it, and I think it's more of the outside weather. World Series times is a lot cooler, a little more windy. If you look at the summertime, it's a lot more humid, a lot hotter. So even if the stadium's closed with the heat outside, and it's just a weird feeling, But when it's nice and cool, the air is thin and the ball is flying. So with the extreme weather Texas has, it could change day to day. And I remember the same thing with the old stadium. There was days where the windbreakers would break by the scoreboard, and the ball would fly. And there'd be other days where you think that the wind is blowing out and it's blowing straight in. So Texas is just a crazy, it's a crazy place, and it changes all the time. And I think that's more of what it came down to.
Yeah. Okay. So advice to Nate, you should have that little Stinger 5-iron in case it's a windy day coming in too. This is a question for Nate. This comes from John Ward 2306. And we kind of touched on this a little bit, but he's wondering about the transition from Tampa Bay to Texas. I don't know that he's talking about physically moving necessarily, how that part of it has gone, but what about just, how things work from one to the other?
Sure. Let's see. Texas is a little more proactive with the travel stuff, I would say, just because it's a bigger production to get out to Scottsdale or wherever in Arizona and get to Dallas from there and come all the way across the country to get there. And I mean, fortunately, Krabby lives right down the road from me in Tampa, so he's been able to come out and link up and see what I got going on. And then, the team was able to get me out to Marucci, which was fantastic. I've never had an experience like that with Tampa, so it's already a different look, I would say, in the first couple weeks of being a part of the organization without even having stepped foot in the facility.
Okay. All right, good. And if you've gotten together with Krabby this offseason down there in Florida, then you've no doubt golfed with Krabby as well this offseason.
I'm trying to set that up next week.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Don't bring your wallet. Okay, Isaiah, question for you. Although I shouldn't say that, Nate. I haven't seen your game yet. Maybe you could take a little of my money back from him. Isaiah, a question for you. And this is from Robbie Soto _24, and he wants to know, how did it feel winning a Gold Glove? Did you know before it was announced on that day? Were you given any tip off in advance?
I knew like a week earlier, but looking at the stats, I thought there was, I think that was the first time they dropped like that outs above average and the defensive runs saved and everything during the season. So I had a chance to look at it, and it kind of made me nervous because I was like, there's only one guy close to me. It's Nolan Arenado. No one's even in the realm. I could make a bunch of errors and it still would even make a difference. And I think that's what I did. I made 3 errors after that thing came out. So I was a little nervous, but once the season ended and I saw those stats and it wasn't even close, I was like, I know I blew everybody out of the water. But the thing that I was kind of, disappointed in was the platinum. That was what I wanted. And there's only one other person that I thought should have beat me, and it was Joey. But, platinum glove, normally you're looking at it and it's combined infield all over the place, right? They didn't add up my shortstop numbers. I had like 3 outs above average and I think another 4 defensive runs saved at shortstop. And when the platinum glove came out, they didn't add any of that in. So it made it look like Joey had me blown out of the water, but I want to let him know that's what I'm competing him. I'm going to get him this year. Even though Alex Gordon won it, we all know should have been one of us. So I think, that's a go for me and Joey. We're going to compete over that.
Okay. All right. I love it. It's one of my favorite things is great defense. Not that particularly matters to you guys, but it is a thing of beauty, man, when you see a team execute defensively real well. I want to wrap up our little conversation today with kind of a couple independent thoughts. And so, Nate, I'll start with you. And we know, you were drafted by Tampa Bay in the 13th round, the same year that your brother was drafted by Tampa Bay with the 13th pick. 13's an interesting number for the two of you. I don't know if either of you have adopted that number as something to be superstitious about, or that should be a part of your baseball lives going forward. That's number one. Number two, obviously you come from a very athletic family. I think your mom was a competitive athlete in college. I know your dad was an all-around great athlete as well. So what is the competition level like in the Lowe household, around the holidays or the dinner table growing up, whatever? Were you guys competing all the time?
Yeah, I would say it was always apples to oranges though, because Josh's game was always different than mine. He caught passes, I threw passes to the other team. Like, our football careers were different. He could shoot a basketball, I could airball a basketball. Like it's different things, But it gets pretty heated on the golf course. It gets heated when power numbers come into play. Like, we'll talk about exit velo and hits here and there. But, for the most part, it's healthy competition. It's never anything too aggressive.
Okay. Who's the better golfer right now?
Don't ask me that.
Oh, man, I'm really sorry. I obviously touched a nerve right there.
This has not been my year on the golf course. I'll be all right, though. Don't worry.
All right. We'll get it turned around.
Yeah.
Isiah, for you, I wanted to ask about Hawaii. I know it's a big deal. Being from Hawaii, I see it on social media. You take a lot of pride in other Hawaiians' success. So who are some up and coming Hawaiian ball players that maybe we should be thinking about or getting excited about stateside seeing?
Oh, there's a bunch. Colton led the way. Shane and Colton led the way. Kurt. And there's just not a lot of opportunities. For me, the whole college thing was more about me just being from Hawaii and not getting exposure. I traveled a lot, and my parents spent a lot of hard-earned money just to get me, to California, Arizona, wherever it need be. But it's just not easy. It's tough for these kids to find hope in being a professional athlete just because of the circumstances that we grew up in. Not having a pro team is a huge thing. So we don't have a role model. We don't really have anybody to look forward to. But just having someone like me win a Gold Glove and never get recruited or never do this and never do that, and to have a Gold Glove, it just it gives everybody hope. And we got a great group of people training, and hopefully we see those guys coming up. But I don't want to give them their praise until they make it, because they need to keep working. So, but there's a bunch of guys with me. They'll see this and they'll get the message. But we got a lot of minor league talent, and but it doesn't mean anything if they don't put the work in. So as long as they keep doing that, Hawaii's in a good spot.
Okay. All right. What has you guys most excited about this upcoming season?
And meeting the guys. We got a new team. Can't wait to see Nate. We got Dane. I think Dane Dunning that's his name on the pitcher that we got from Lance. And I really like the off season we had. Last year was a dead off season. This year you see Lance leave. I'm thankful for everything that guy's done, but the prospects we get in return are great. We're probably the most active team for a little while, so I think that should give fans a lot of hope going to next year and then going to next off season as well. And we're back. JD and Chris Young, I think that was a huge hire as well. We're back. Our organization's in a great spot now. We were rock bottom for a little bit, but you can only go up from there. So I'm really excited with all the moves we've made, and it's going to be fun to see it pay out, because normally you bring in guys and it could be this and that, but I think the guys we brought in are all character checked. So it's going to make everything a lot better, and I can't wait to be one unit out there and win some ball games.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Isiah. Nate, what about you, man? What get you most excited about this coming season?
Yeah, that where he said one unit right there at the end is a big deal for us getting excited for the season, because us growing together as a team and meeting a whole new group of guys and becoming a team with a whole new group of guys is such a big step to winning, you know? So I believe that the guys that are in this clubhouse and that are coming in together and know the ropes already will help each other to grow together. And, you know, we got some pretty exciting prospects to look forward to, and guys who are established already who have earned the right to, you know, do what they do, you know. So we're gonna move together as one unit and hopefully win a lot of ball games here.
Well, I love it. I always enjoy the chance to catch up with you guys, especially after last season and most likely this season when we just don't get as much time down in the clubhouse or the chance to just chat with you guys. So really appreciate it. And that's going to do it. So let's close out tonight's episode with a big thank you once again to Isiah and Nate. Of course, our good friends at Comerica Bank. Now tune in again next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock on Rangers Facebook. It'll be our final Caravan Chat series of the season. And then it's off to spring training. Additionally, a little heads up, join us in person at Globe Life Field Saturday morning, 10 a.m., mask and food distribution event benefiting folks in the area. The first 250 cars will, of course, be able to get some. So get there early would be my suggestion on Saturday. Again, the event starting at 10 a.m. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We'll see you next Wednesday with Matt Hicks hosting. He'll have Joey Gallo and David Dahl. I'm Dave Raymond, wishing you a very safe and healthy good night.